Is Jake Paul taking over women's boxing? Is Daniel Dubois getting his sweet redemption? And what's next for Jerron Boots Ennis? All that and more.
This is JJ Solomon.
This Corey Bradshaw, Mr. RTBA. Mr. Dubois can't touch me on my worst day. And this is the Spit Bucket Podcast.
It's your boy, Mr. RTBA, Mr. 214, Senor Dos, Uno Cuatro, Senor Dos, Catorce, Mr. Undeniable, Mr. D Boys can't touch me on my worst day. With my partner in crime, my brother from another, Mr. JJ Solomon. This is the Spit Bucket Podcast, episode 89. JJ, what's popping, my guy?
It's been a long time. I should have left you. What's up, bro?
Without a dope beat, the step two. Step two. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, bro? I'm happy to be here, dog.
Oh man, we back, man. I'm happy to be back too, man. Shout out to everybody who gonna see this or who gonna come on from the 214 to across the pond, man. It's Tuesday night in TSB, aka the Spit Bucket. We back in action, man. How you living, JJ? What's been popping, man? It seems like we ain't been on here forever.
It has been, and look, I'm going to talk about that a little bit, Corey. I haven't even talked to you about what's been happening. I'm gonna look like a crybaby, but I'm gonna be completely honest. This break we just been busy. For those of you who watch, for those of you who grown ups with responsibilities, for the most part, me and ILTBA, we don't get paid for this. There's little bonuses here and there's little jobs here and there. So. And I'm not saying it's about money, but it's sometimes it's hard to handle your family business and handle all that and handle, like we've said plenty of times, I got a little 14-month-old. I got a kid who's going off to college next August. I got a 15-year-old who's in high school. So it's tiring. But I'm going to say this, ILTBA. We'll jump into this and say that Tank, the last episode we did was talking about the Tank Davis and after the fight, and is boxing going to do it right? The New York Athletic Commission, are they going to fix it? And, dog, I'm going to be real honest with you, bro. When the New York State Athletic Commission ruled in favor of Tank Davis, it took a lot out of me, dog. I haven't even talked to you about this. It did, bro, because, I love this sport so much. And I don't love any individuals. I don't love Lamont Roach. I don't love Shakur. I love the sport, and I feel like we all have a job and a duty to keep it authentic, to keep it legit, to keep it real. And bro, when I saw that, I felt so bad for Lamont Roach. I felt so bad for fighters who've taken a knee and they had to have a 10-8 round like every other fight. It took a lot out of me, Corey. It really did, bro. And I wasn't on Twitter nearly as much. I wasn't on social media. And then George Foreman passed away. Dog, I'm telling you, bro, these last few weeks, it took a lot out of me. The boxing spirit. George Foreman, is there anything bad anybody can say about George Foreman? So between those two things, bro, I'm sorry I've been a little just distracted, but I'm going to be real honest. Those two things hit me hard, dog. It hit my boxing soul, dog.
Yeah, man. First off, losing the big George Foreman, rest in peace, to the big George Foreman. And, our condolences from the Spit Bucket Podcast to all his family, friends, and, everybody around the world who grew up actually might not even knowing him, just feeling like he was a part of your life because you know him from the Rumble in the Jungle. You know him from me coming up as a kid. Hearing him on HBO with Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant, knowing him to come back and win, the heavyweight championship of the world, the oldest person to do it, and then knowing him to have the George Foreman grills, Jose Jr., that was the best thing smoking for years. That's where he made most of his fame and fortune. But you 100% correct, though, bro. That was a big loss. You know, us just doing what we got to do. You know, with our families and stuff, and also, I didn't feel no type of way. I thought you was gonna say Corey when I heard the news from the New York Athletic State Commission. I was gonna say you was right.
You were right. You
No,
were right,
no,
bro.
no.
You were right. Yeah.
I thought that's what you were gonna say.
I'm sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
I didn't
no.
want
But
you to be right, dog.
no, but you know, it's to be expected. Uh, Jose Jun, you gotta understand, um. Like I tell you, when you dealing with fighters at that caliber, right, it's gonna be hard to turn over a decision. You know, another thing that bothers me, I know we got to get into the show, but let's just vent for a couple of minutes real quick.
Yeah. This is a good thing
Like
about
they
it being
like
a bar show.
yeah, like you said they did Tank Davis. You know, look at Ryan Garcia, JJ. How disturbing is this, right? I'm just being honest. How disturbing is this to see a guy who got caught cheating, was suspended, no matter what nobody think. But instead of Tiafimo or Devin Haney, who are the more legitimate fighters and who did more, Ryan Garcia is headlining this card, JJ. That's what bothers me about boxing, right? Like, you're going to have this guy who brings nothing to the table. Like, okay, I know eyeballs on him, but he just got caught cheating, and he's the headliner over them two guys. That's frustrating, and that's why I got a problem with Turkey Al-Sheikh. See, I tried to believe in this guy, but you know I was always skeptical of this guy, and a lot of his games are starting to come to fruition. But yeah, that's my little thing I had to get
No,
off.
let's talk about it, dog. We haven't talked about it. I know that wasn't part of our headline or part of our pregame plan, but that's a hell of a point. We haven't, me and you haven't even discussed that, and I haven't tweeted. And like that's that's also, I think that falls under the same umbrella as what's shitty about the Tank Davis Lamont Roach situation, and now that, and you know what it all leads to is money, the dollar sign. Boxing continues to whore itself out, dog. Whether you're talking about the position we're in with Turkey, whether you're talking about how Jake Paul, this is a negative thing to Jake Paul because this is the YouTube part of it. Whether you're talking about now this, giving Tank Davis, essentially letting him keep his belt when Lamont Roach technically earned it. Now you're seeing this shit with Ryan Garcia headlining one of the first time ever we're seeing a fight in Times Square where it's essentially going to be outdoors. It's going to be a big time event, and you have an undisputed champ and a lineal champ on the undercard. You know, Devin Haney technically didn't lose that fight against Ryan Garcia. Teofimo
Mhm.
Lopez is what, you know, you say what you want about Tio, but those guys inside the ring, they ran circles around what Ryan Garcia's accomplished. And why is Ryan Garcia the headliner? We know the answer. It's money. And that's frustrating, dog. Who's gonna take a stand? Yeah, y'all are right. Ryan gets more eyeballs. Tank is the cash cow. Yeah, but who is gonna stand up to the establishment and say, yeah, that's a lot of money, but that's not right. And until boxing starts doing what's right, we're gonna continue to see these problems as a sport, dog. That's
That's what
sickening. You're absolutely right, bro.
And that's why I say, like, Oscar De La Hoya, you know, Bernard Hopkins, Golden Boy. Like, I look at them guys as legends, right? Love Oscar De La Hoya, love Bernard Hopkins, you know, two of my all-time favorite fighters, and I respect them so dearly. But you hear these guys saying the best fighters need to fight the best, right? And and we know what De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins was about coming up as fighters. Then they got this guy Ryan Garcia who's doing this, and you know the narrative is getting pushed. You know, I understand he's a part of the company, but come on now, like right is right, Jay, and wrong is wrong. It's no way that Ryan Garcia should be headlining this fight after coming off what he came off. That's just the truth.
And I know you can't resuspend somebody for this, but the PED suspension, that's just one piece of it. Let's not forget about showing up overweight. Let's not forget about all the racist shit he said. Let's not forget about all the terrible, terrible accusations and lies he made up during that buildup. And what do we reward him with? A headline and main event in Times Square when you have two other potential future Hall of Famers on the undercard who've done nothing but dedicated the whole damn life. Now, we've seen good performances and bad performances from Haney and T.O., but one thing we haven't seen is them being out of shape. We ain't seen them getting into legal trouble outside. We ain't seen them well, Teofimo Lopez does you. Yeah, Teofimo is racist too, but I don't. That's not what this is about. This is about the point you're making where Ryan Garcia is getting gifted a headline. And again, dog, money talks. I hate it, but money talks. No other sport. We talk about the NFL being the no fun league and all this, but still, dog, like they have there's things you don't do. There's lines you don't cross. And I don't give a shit if it's Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, whoever. If they're cheating, they're gonna get suspended, they're gonna be held accountable. But let's shift a little bit. Because you talk about B-Hop, you talk about De La Hoya and Turk obviously working together. But man, there's a lot of people, me and you've been a little skeptical. I'm not going to be one of those guys that says I'm against Turkey Al-Sheikh. I will always be against Turkey Al-Sheikh, but I'm also not going to say, oh, I love Turkey. Keep throwing the money to us, Turkey. Let's keep putting the fights on. I'm going to keep talking about it, how I feel at that time. And right now, I'm not feeling crazy about Turkey. Right now, little things like him wanting to change the Ali Act. Why? Why are you and Dana trying to change essentially the constitution of boxing? Why are y'all trying to change it? I know there's room for improvement in boxing, but Turk, why are you trying to change it? You're brand new to the game. You haven't really experienced problems or anything like that. There haven't been really any problems. Now, there's a lot of people who find ways around the Ali Act and stuff, but just to go in there and straight want to change it. Another problem I have, when a fight is in Saudi, they damn near make movie trailers for these promotions. When they promote this shit, they promote it. When this fight's in New York or anywhere else, LA or whatever, cricket. Like this fight ain't getting pushed the way it should be getting pushed, having those three gigantic names on that card, and then the B sides ain't that bad either. Shit. You got Rolly, who's, I'm not saying he's a great boxer, but he's a name. You got Ramirez, who's a pretty accomplished fighter. So why are we seeing more promotion? The answer is not in Saudi Arabia. And all Turk wants is to bring attention to Saudi Arabia. So when it's happening over here, they ain't treating it the same. Those right off the bat, two big problems I'm already starting to see with this, bro.
Outside, JJ, I was never with this fight being outside. Okay, if it's outside at a stadium and you let everybody in for free in a big stadium, yeah, do that. You basically giving it away for free. So why not do it in a big stadium? That's huge. And let everybody in, right? Like you say, bro. Turkey, and another thing I don't like about Turkey, right? The way he's trying to play Shakur Stevenson, right?
Yep.
You don't do a guy like that. Like I ain't with none of this nonsense that nobody else talking about when it comes to Shakur Stevenson. When he gonna get his respect, his RESPECT? Y'all know what it means to me. RESPECT. I'm talking about Mr. Three Division champ, right? You want to play him like he a puppet, right? But then you want to gift everybody else with this. JJ, I say this respectfully. Shakur Stevenson is well more known than a Terrence Crawford or anybody else besides Canelo that's on their resume. Shakur Stevenson is well accomplished, and we have been talking about this guy for years. And for Turkey Al-Sheikh to try to play that dude right now, him, and then Turkey came through with his promise to where he made Bivol drop that belt. TJJ, this one don't get talked about, right? They want to talk. They want to always talk about Larry Holmes. I mean, not Larry Holmes, Riddick Bowe, and when he threw his belt away. And that was a big story to talk about. Okay, good. But at least Riddick Bowe did it on TV live in front of all of us, right? Why ain't nobody talking about Bivol giving his belt away and everybody else dropping their belt? That's the same as throwing the belt away. But to this day, Riddick Bowe cannot go nowhere without getting that question asked, why did you throw your belt away instead of fight Lennox Lewis? None of these other guys are held accountable. That ain't throwing your belt away. That's practically throwing it away. At least Riddick Bowe had the courage. I mean, he ate his porridge and had his courage like the three little birds and came and threw his belt away in front of all of us. And he get ridiculed for that. Been ridiculed for that for 30 plus years. But these other guys just throw their belts away and oh, it's nothing. And look how Turkey Al-Sheikh did. He made this dude throw his belt away.
Bro, I have more of a problem with this specific situation. I know this has been a turkey bashing situation. I want to touch on the Shakur thing, and then we'll get into that. Yes, absolutely it's shitty to Shakur. You gave the man your word. You gave him a number. I don't believe Shakur's lying about that. Why would he lie? He was excited about it. You gave the man his word, and I don't care about nothing else at that point. I don't care about Shakur's previous views, which he's been doing solid, decent numbers lately, but that doesn't matter because you gave him your word. I don't care about any of that. You gave him your word, and now you're trying to renegotiate. The man who's throwing money at everybody, and now all of a sudden you're trying to count those pennies. Is that Dana White in your ear? Is that Dana White saying, hey, man, if this is going to work, you need to start paying these guys less? And is Shakur Stevenson the first casualty of Mr. Budget-friendly Turkey Al-Sheikh? But it doesn't matter. He's missing an opportunity here. What Shakur Stevenson lacks in his career is opportunity, dog. I don't care what anybody says. I believe he wants Tank Davis. I believe he will fight any of these big names right now. I believe he regrets not calling Devin Haney out in the 25% or calling his bluff. I don't think that fight would have happened anyway. But what I'm saying is Shakur hasn't had the opportunity. He's licking his chops for one. Turkey, you promised you give him one for a certain amount of money. Now we're grown men. Now it's you gave him your word, and now you're going back on it. Man, I'm totally cool with Shakur telling Eddie Hearn, I'm not working with Riot season no more. I'll work with you, and we'll do our event. Oscar De La Hoya, let's put this shit together with Cepeda, but I'm not working with Riot. And if Shakur sticks with that, bro, that's going to be some respect right there because he's walking away from Turkey Al-Sheikh, who's been showing all this money, and saying, nah, you gave me a man's word. I'm gonna walk away from that. Let's work with Oscar and Eddie.
And to be honest, JJ, I think that's going to start to be a sprinkle effect to where everybody else see that and they're going to stay over here. Like the one thing I like about this situation that happened, right? Because all these organizations, y'all don't get no fight because y'all been doing dirty business for years. I like the fact that Turk came in and woke them up because we haven't had nobody with this type of force who could come wake these guys up to make them do the right thing. And you can see this was a big wake-up call because Turkey came in this game. He used everybody from the promoters to the all the sanctioning bodies to get them wrapped around his hand. And now they can see he's slowly trying to take him off a leash and just whip him away because I got everything I needed out of you. And it's clear to see when he did that deal with Dana White, a guy who don't know shit about boxing. I love Dana White because I love the UFC, but he don't know shit about boxing, right? He'd rather do a deal with him to put on a series than these guys over here and Eddie Hearn, De La Hoya, Frank Warren, and all the other guys. You rather go do a guy who don't know nothing about boxing? Wow.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. And then I want to just say this. Because I gave Shakur his salute for walking away from Turkey and all that. And I know the first thing the Tank Davis diehards are going to say, well, Tank Davis didn't want to work with him. Tank Davis didn't want to work with him because Turkey was dictating who you're going to fight. And one thing Tank Davis don't like is you tell him who he's going to fight. He's going to pick who the hell he wants to fight. Unlike what your boy Ellie said. No, but they don't have any choice. They don't get to choose, correct? No, but yeah, so it's different. Shakur walking away from money and offer and all that sort of deal against a very, very highly touted challenger like William Cepeda. But I know we opened a bag of worms here, but the Benavidez Bivol better be a drama. Look, I'm putting that WTF on Mauricio Suleiman and the WBC, dog. That's who we should be mad at for that situation. Because for years, you didn't strip Canelo for fighting for fighting Benavidez because you never ordered the fight to happen. Y'all just let it drag and drag and drag and drag and drag. And then how long has it been? How long did Jamal Charlo get to keep his belt before he finally got stripped? Like it's hypocrisy, bro. Like Mauricio showed early in the Bebo Better Be a drama that he has a thing against the Russians because of the war against Ukraine. But then once you let that fight happen, you got to let them prejudices go because now you're going to tell Bebo, and listen, you can't be mad at Bebo, bro. Just how we're getting pissed off at Turk for going against his word with Shakur. Bebo gave Benavidez his word. We're going to have the rubber match. And then Benavidez, you can get in there whoever wins that. Yeah, boxing fans, I think I'm ready to move on from the trilogy. I think boxing fans would like to see Benavidez get that opportunity. But again, Bebo gave Benavidez his word. Suleiman has always been okay with letting these damn contenders go forever before having to strip them. But now all of a sudden, Suleiman is pushing the issue to where Bebo forced to give the belt up. I don't put no blame on Bebo. I think he's living up to his word. I don't think a lot of people want to see that third fight, but hey, man, he gave the man his word, and I don't have a problem with Bebo right now on that specific situation. I don't give a problem with Bebo and Turk on that.
You're right. I'm gonna just finish it off with this 30 seconds so we can go and get into it. Um, you're right, Mauricio Suleiman. You do deserve a lot of blame because, like I said, he had, and I like Mauricio, but let's let
Me
the truth
too.
come to the power, and the power
Yeah.
come to the truth. He had his nose so far of Canelo ass, Boo Boo was running down his face profusely. You was kissing his ass so much. You was doing David Benavidez and everybody else dirty. You didn't care about them then. Now you got your nose stuck up David Benavidez where Boo Boo is running down your face profusely. Now, JJ, before we go on, I got to say this. I apologize, JJ.
Uh-oh.
You was right. You was 100% right. How dare me talk about Canelo and say he's better than Mike Tyson or I apologize, right? Because JJ, like I said, thought come from thinking, right? And it's okay to come back when you have your thought, but when you start doing some thinking and you know that you spoke uh, inappropriately, not inappropriately, but you misspoke when you spoke about something. Tyson would never. Tyson didn't come up in this era doing what Canelo, Mayweather, all these
Yeah.
other guys are doing. Tyson would never, like you say, Tyson was the youngest heavyweight fighter of all time. And you right, JJ. That means something. That means something. Not only that, he was defending it against good fighters. And guess what? He wanted all the smoke. All the smoke. The only thing that slowed Mike Tyson down was him going to the penitentiary. And we have to take that for what it is. Going to the penitentiary for almost them 3 years took a lot from him. Yeah, he was able to come back and do some things, but he still wasn't that same guy. But before he went, he was that guy, JJ. And I won't compare none of these freaking new era fighters, to Mike Tyson because I was wrong about that, right? And how dare I? So,
Oh
yeah.
man, listen. Usually I'll be like, nah, bro, nah, it ain't even that. But man, Mike, like you're right, bro. Mike Tyson took on, and I've after me and you had that our last episode where we got heavy into that when you made that comparison. I went back, and I just looked at everything, bro, and I saw his fight with Pinkton Thomas, and I saw his fight with Bone Crusher Smith, and that's has happened in the past few weeks. And I've been I wanted to start going at it again, but I thought you were just gonna be like, bro, shut up. Mike Tyson from '86 to 1990, I don't give a shit, bro. Like maybe Muhammad Ali, but maybe bro, it was just another world. But hey, I
No,
appreciate
you're right. It wasn't like I'm just saying, like, how dare I? Because we always look at these accolades, but this new era ass wave, it's easy to get these accolades, JJ. When Mike Tyson then was coming up, it wasn't easy. to get these accolades like that. You have to go through it to get to it. We can see these guys now these days, they ain't got to go through it to get to it. They just go to it, go straight to it. And without having to go through anything, no trials or tribulations to show who you are. That's why I would never compare these era of guys here to them era of guys back in the day. I will never do. Not
And
even
one thing,
Mayweather. Not even Mayweather, bro.
you can't, not money. One thing Tyson will never say was, "I'm the face of boxing. I'll do what I want." Mike Tyson probably is still a face of boxing. Like he's still, I don't give a shit about Canelo, Mayweather, none of these guys. You talking Mike Tyson, that's a different status of face of boxing. And he still won't say that. He still got in the ring and fought Jake Paul at almost 60 years old. So yeah, man. Hey, look who's on. What's up to WCS? I was about to say
WCS.
let's do some Sunday school, but nah, I don't want to. I don't want to talk about God with WCS. I seen it, bro. I seen it. We'll have to jump on a Sunday special with you one day, bro. Hey, before we move on, guys, if you could just if you could share this, tell your friends all this. We're on Facebook tonight, but I don't know if it's going through. But we appreciate y'all tuning in. We appreciate all the support. But yeah, let's jump into the topics that were in the title today, bro. You want to go Jake Paul? You want to go to Usyk? You want to go to Boots first?
Let's go Jake Paul first. That's big what Jake Paul doing. Let's
Yeah,
get the
Jake
ladies their
Paul.
attention.
Yeah, Jake Paul. Coming in, a lot of people have a lot to say about Jake Paul, and you either love him or you hate him as a boxing fan. You love and hate him as a non-boxing fan. But listen, one thing we in Korea have always said is one thing this dude has been doing is taking care of the ladies. He's put a spotlight on the women like nobody has ever done before. And we're seeing things happen. And we're seeing, obviously we're seeing the ladies get the shine, but one thing we're not talking about is we're starting to see more and more girl fighters at that elite level, bro. Remember a few years ago, or back when the 10-round, 2-minute rounds or 12 3-minute round discussion, and my reason for being against 3-minute rounds was because women weren't there yet. There was only a few Clarissa Shields, Amanda Serrano, Savannah Martin. There were only a few of them where it would make the competition even way worse if you give it would make the elite more elite and the mediocre more mediocre. But we're starting to see more and more real talent, bro. And so the reason we're talking about this is because if anybody's been under a rock or anything, but Jake Paul just signed Alicia Baumgartner. Jake Paul just signed Dallas's own IBF champ, Chicken Metcalf. He signed so many women. And they just to stack onto that, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, third fight. And look what's happening, dog. It's blowing up. Alicia Baumgartner's coming back, and we're seeing our girl Chicken, dog. Salute to Chicken. Salute to Sharita Metcalf, who was working club fights just a few years ago. And now is a world champion fighting on the Jake Paul, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor undercard. So just wanted to take a second and say salute to Jake Paul MVP. But the question that I'm going to present to you, Corey, is can you say Jake Paul is taking over women's boxing if he hasn't bagged the self-proclaimed and in many eyes, GOAT, Clarissa Shields? What are your thoughts? Is Jake Paul the kingpin in women's boxing?
Absolutely. Clarissa Shields, love her to death, but she don't make the sport, right? She don't make the sport. The sport because if it's not other women performing in a sport and doing what they're doing, then women boxing is nothing. Now I give Clarissa Shields her credit. She was the golden ticket. I give her that. She is the reason why women's boxing has elevated because of her stature and her coming in here and being able to do what she's been able to do. But yeah, he don't need her, but Clarissa Shields don't need him either because Clarissa Shields is her own entity in her own self. But I look at it like this. I think it's a bad move on Clarissa Shields, not wanting to work with Jake Paul and MVP. What type of better look can you get than that? Like how much more money could be on the table. You cannot tell me you could not make way more money than that. But to answer the question, absolutely 100%. Jake Paul is setting a precedence in women boxing right now. He's doing the unthinkable. He's making the not believable believable to all these ladies out here who had hopes and dreams and who also put their blood, sweat, and tears in the gym when nobody will pay attention. Not saying that Jake Paul started it. Um, by putting these women boxes on. But what we can say, he is elevating the women boxing, just like my dog down here, your uncle, himself, Coach Fred Cavazos. Because when I first came on the scene, it wasn't nobody. And still ain't nobody from the 214 around the Metroplex who was putting on and training these women like Coach Fred was. And Coach Fred, accepted me in, and he know how much love I got for him and gonna ride with him. And I just say that's what I'm comparing it to, like to what Jake Paul is doing. It's just on a bigger level.
Yeah.
So absolutely 100%.
No doubt, man. Salute to Jake Paul. You know, it here's the difference, bro. Like MVP is taking the time. Like most of these networks, most of the promotion companies, it's like men's boxing, men's boxing, men's boxing. That's what they're focusing on. And then it's like, okay, yeah, here on the side, all right, we'll get to the women. We'll squeeze them in where we can. We'll sign this one. We'll sign that one. It wasn't their priority. What MVP is doing is saying salute to them because there's a opening there for somebody to go in there and pour money into it, and they saw it because nobody's giving the women this type of eyeball, but they're pouring their attention to it now. Whether it's a result of not getting men signed or they are intentional about it, the fact is MVP now is intentionally focused on the women. They're going to start matching these women up. Look, there ain't as many women boxers as there are men boxers, so that means we're going to get more big fights, more unification fights, more undisputed fights, because that's going to be, we have a much smaller pool from. So MVP is smart by giving the champs the money, bringing them all in, and then, let's see what happens. A whole ass card with a fight, is going to be fireworks again, headlining with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Now, the Clarissa Shields thing, Clarissa came out and said that she's made more money in heavyweight than she ever has, and she won't go any lower than 154, and that only 2 women have agreed to fight in 154. Some Olympian, I forget her name, and then Michaela Mayer. Bumgarner's sticking to 147. I would love to see Clarissa Shields and Michaela Mayer. I just don't know
Oh
what's going to
yeah,
happen, bro. That's a
yeah,
big drop. That's a big drop in weight. But that's
yeah.
a different conversation. I don't know if you
Yeah,
want
I
to
would
go into
definitely
that
like
one.
to see that. I thought you was gonna say bomb going. I just hope
Nah.
I just hope Alicia, come through this next fight and it's nothing afterwards we hear about. But salute to her for being back in boxing. Everybody deserves a second chance, and I just, want her to do the right thing, just like I want Ryan Garcia or anybody else whoever got caught
100%.
with some of that word stuff in their system. But I'm glad to have Alicia Baumgartner back. The most happy I'm for is for, Dallas on, Sharetta Chicken Metcalf. Um, because I was there, JJ, able to see the maturation, of chicken. Everybody call her chicken. We know her name's Sharetta Metcalf, but we call her chicken right here. It ain't nobody who had the passion and just the determination to know that she was gonna be what she was gonna be when it was dark. JJ, when it was dark, and she took losses in her career. When nobody was paying attention. Like I say, you always make the unbelievable come to believable, and she was able to. My favorite quote: to stay focused at the goal at hand, and who's shining like her, bright. What we say down here: the stars at night are big and bright deep in
Yeah,
the
give
heart
it
of
up, bro.
who's signing hard like chicken out of any fighter in the Metroplex? Nobody. So
No doubt,
salute to
bro.
her.
And salute to Chicken. She's got
Oh
Dina.
yeah, so,
Dina.
and I got to salute too. Coach Christine, Coach
Hell
Haziel.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got to give them a big shout out too, right? Because they've been in the boxing game a long time, and they've been instrumental to the city and being a part, of this program of not only, coaching boxing, but, being in the media and, doing the shows and doing the Olympics. And, that was a good moment to see, Coach Christine and, Chicken had their moment right there. And I know they hungry and I know they gonna stay at it. But this is a good fight Chicken got coming up.
For
She fighting
sure,
a
bro.
girl Chicken is, I think she a champ too, but like this is a good fight and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's a unification fight. Old girl's 23-0. So it should be a good fight. Salute to Chicken. We know Christine's getting her prepared. So yeah, man. So salute to J. Paul. Salute to all the ladies. Salute to Clarissa for doing her own thing in her own lane, making her own money, her own movies.
Yeah, but the only thing I don't like, JJ, okay, Clarissa, congratulations. Okay, congratulations. You making more money than you made the heavyweight. Congratulations, but this moment ain't about you. Like, this the only problem I have with Clarissa. Love Clarissa to death. I do. Right? She made me into a believer. Right? I thought the girl from across the pond was gonna be not Savannah Marshall. What's the
Tina
pretty
Hammer.
girl? Yeah, Christina Hammer, and she like the and we had look. So I love Clarissa Shields to death, but this is the thing that bothers me with Clarissa, and I say this out of love, but she got to hear this. Like every time other women fighters have their moments, she got to come out and try to make it like it's about like it's her. Like she got to try to implement herself into a Clarissa. You don't need to do that because you have your moment like you do when you fight. It's a big deal. It is. We know that, but when these other ladies fight, it's a big deal as well. So come on now, like you can't just think that it's all about you. Okay, Clarissa, you're the golden ticket. You help the maturation of it, but it's not all just about you. And to say people are jealous, why are they jealous? Amanda Serrano just got through fighting on Jake Paul card, who was in what had more households than a Super Bowl. Love you to death, Clarissa, but you got to let other ladies have their attention, and you got to have yours because they respect you when you in the motion. Now I understand you don't like Bomb Gun. I don't even know why she even be coming at you like that. And then Jake Paul, the dude who run it, saying on the interview, oh,
Nikita.
Clarissa's
Yeah.
yeah, she's gonna have to come down to 140. Shut up. You and your little Eddie of an edge up you got in the front of your head. Shut up. Clarissa ain't got to come down nothing to fight Bomb Gun. And she up there talking about just smile and look like a little chipmunk. No, you ain't stop it. They try to stop trying to make Bomb Gun look like she bigger than Clarissa. She's not.
Baumgartner needs to rematch Michaela Mayer, man. A lot of people don't. That was a close fight, and that fight was highly disputed, and that's what really needs to happen. And let's hit these comments, bro. And before we hit the Usyk piece, it looks like people want to talk about boots, so let's get to that. But shout out to I can't see the name from here.
Zone 6. That's Uncle Zone. Uncle Zone 6 in the
What's up?
building.
He's talking about Norman Jr. for boots. No excuses. Hey, we appreciate you, Zone 6. He's sending the link out. Al Money's on.
Al Money.
The bucket head of the year shit. He's still the
Yeah.
front runner for bucket head of the year.
Oh, God, yeah.
Zone 6 saying Boots is overrated. Oh, I can't wait to get into the conversation right now. I can't wait to get into the conversation. Hey, listen, before we get into the conversation, we're going to play a quick commercial. Y'all please share. This is going to be an all Boots segment where we're going to talk about the fight. We're going to talk about what's next. We're going to talk about is he overrated or not? But before we do that, let's just catch a quick. This is a 30-second commercial. 22-second commercial, actually. Don't go too far, correct?
Step into the ring of success with Dynamite CRM, the heavyweight champion of CRM software and website development. Jab through clutter data and deliver knockout blows to your competition. With Dynamite CRM in your corner, victory is guaranteed.
Shout out to Dynamite CRM. Listen, guys, we got some cool shit planned with these guys at Dynamite CRM. First off, let's tell you what they do. If you need yourself just a website for your business, they'll do it. If you need a CRM to manage all your customers because you got yourself a very successful business, they will do it. if you don't know what a CRM is, that means you're not quite there yet. So keep busting your ass. Go get a website from Dynamite CRM. They will hook you up. But listen, they're working on our website. They're making it nice and pretty. But we got something coming out called the Dynamite. What's it called? The Dynamite CRM. It's like the bucket, the suggestion bucket or something. We're working on it. And you guys are going to get to call a voicemail box. You call our number, leave a voicemail, talk any shit you want. It don't got to be about what we talk about or whatever. And we're going to pick a few of those voicemails out. It could be about history. It could be about Julio Cesar Chavez and Mike Tyson. It could be about whoever. It could be about the future of boxing. Leave a voicemail. Talk your shit. We're going to play your voicemail. We'll give you a shout out, and then we're going to discuss your voicemail. That's coming soon. But y'all check out Dynamite CRM. We got a lot of good things working with them.
Dynamite.
Tell
You
them.
understand me?
JJ Evans used to say it. Hey, let's see. Where were we? Boots Ennis. Coming off a TKO stoppage where Emmanuel Stanionis essentially quit on the stool. I hate using the word quit in boxing because quit got such a shitty like a reputation. Quit is like for people, like cheaters almost, quitters. But man, Boots showed that he's the real deal. And IOTBA, me and you both, we're both here. We both said it before, and this was not hating. I want to see future superstars. I want to see the future faces of boxing start to rise to the top. And I know Boots has some of those tools, but he still hadn't blown me away. Not against worthy competition. I didn't like what went down with Karen. I didn't like how in the rematch, Karen actually looked better. Most of the time, elite fighters in rematches look way better. And this time, like, Boots actually looked worse than he did the first time. Just a bunch of things. He got hit quite a bit. He got the stoppage against a Stanionis that a lot of people were picking to win. A lot of people were picking to at least look competitive. Correct. Your thoughts on Boots Ennis unifying and actually winning a world title at 147 pounds, sir?
He graduated. You know, this what we want to see. Like I said, we was both skeptical. I didn't think Boots was gonna win this fight because I'm not gonna be sold on the American dream of boxing until you show proof that you is who you say you is. And Boots heard all the criticism around the world that with him and win that Karen fight. He went back and put some WD-40, him and his daddy, because I got to give his daddy credit. I got to give him full credit because that game plan was excellent. Boots went in there and showed everybody he is who he said he is because this is what we call make or break, right? Because it's easy to be the champion and get mailed the email belt right then, have a okay performance your last fight, and them thoughts come a wondering and a thinking in your head like, is you this good, right? Boots had to have them thoughts in his head for months. He went in that training camp and he came out here and put on a sensational performance. I don't give a damn what people got to say or talking about overrated this or overrated that. No, people out here who be talking be overrated. How can you look at a performance like that against a guy like Stan Jones, who everybody said that he was going to give Boots a real fight, and Boots went in here and practically made it look easy? Say, listen, I said, what did I say on my video? I said, Philadelphia is going to be a long day or something. No, shout out to the 215, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You got your one. Boots have shown that he has fully arrived. It's no longer calling him a email champion anymore because he went in there and actually really won belt instead of getting it emailed to him. And now he's a unified plus the Ring magazine plus the lineal champion of the 147-pound division. So you can't do nothing but give that man all the credit in the world.
Yep. Last three lineal champs at 147. Floyd Mayweather, Terrence Crawford, and now Jerome Boots Ennis. So that's big time, man. But listen, yeah, I can almost repeat everything you said, and I do have a problem though. So Boots Ennis, like you said, I wasn't skeptical. Skeptical is like I doubt it. I just haven't seen it yet. I've seen signs here, there, but then like I haven't seen him put it all together yet. And then like his last fight with Karen, he looked so out of it emotionally and mentally. And he's too young for that, bro. Like he's too early in the superstar's journey. He's already done more than 99% of boxers in America. But I'm saying the superstar elite journey. It's way too early, in my opinion, for him to have fights. And he just looks so unenergetic. Like he didn't want to be there. Like that fight with Karen. So when I say I was skeptical, it was because of that. And I just hadn't seen it all together, man. But this fight against Stanionis, a very worthy Stanionis, who's been, I know he's been laid off. I know he hadn't fought in a while. And, you know, the whole thing with Virgil. But Stanionis is a good fighter, a great test, a world champ. And Boots looked incredible. Boots looked comfortable. Like he looked so comfortable. He was having fun in there. And I hadn't seen that in a while. And but here's my big but. And I seen our boy Punch Drunk on Punch Drunk Boxing on Twitter and YouTube calling out all the Boots haters because of this part right here. And that screen recorder, send it to him because I want to get it. I want to let him know because this week. Boots is getting hit a lot. And yes, Punch, it is boxing. And yes, you are going to get hit. For sure, I get that. Boots has proven to have the chin to take it. He's got a good beard and he could take them shots. At this level so far, though, listen, you're 154, and once you start fighting the elites, or once you start getting up to 160, 168, the punches don't feel the same. But yes, Punch Drunk. I'm talking to you and the people who say stop hating and stop just looking for shit. I'm not just looking for shit. I'm ready for that next big superstar. I'll be totally cool if it's Boots. I want to see him in Virgil fight. That's I'll get on that a bit. But what concerns me about Boots, those shots he takes, and yes, it's boxing, and yes, you're gonna get hit. But the thing about those shots, they're shots that he don't see coming. They're shots that shock him. And those are the ones that put you to sleep. Those are the ones that the Manny Pacquiao Marquez fight. That's Paul Williams and Sergio Martinez. Those are the shots that are bad. Those are the ones I'm talking. I'm not talking about he's in the pocket and he's getting tagged while he's right before a counter or anything like that. No, I'm talking about big shots that make his head spin, that a lot of fighters would have either slipped or had their right hand up. That is my one problem. I saw a bunch of people saying it was a flawless performance. I saw all of that. No. He took some big shots where if that's Virgil Ortiz or any of the big names at 154, it's a different game at that level. Look what happened with Fundora and damn it, man, I'm forgetting his name. The guy who slept Fundora.
Luba? Not Luba. Martinez, what was his name?
Right, Brian Mendoza?
Mendoza.
Yeah. That dude came out of nowhere and slept his ass, you know? And that guy's – so, like, all I'm saying is that is something that he needs to fix. You can't just say he's got a solid chin. Solid chins are a good plus. Like, it's a good thing to have, but that can't be what you're known for. It's not going to last long, man. Not against these killers. So, Boots Ennis, I give it an A performance. Almost an A plus, but I'm just concerned about the next level of opponents and their power and how susceptible Boots Ennis is to getting hit with the big shot. That was my takeaway from the fight.
Okay, so with that, I mean, I agree with Punch. I'm not gonna say you hate people are hating. I'm gonna say y'all been a little bit over too critical of his performance, right? Because it's easy to say, oh, he get hit. Well, I'm telling everybody out here in the world, I see Virgil Ortiz get hit a lot too. As a matter of fact, I seen Virgil Ortiz get dropped twice. Let's talk about that. Hold up. Not only that, I see Terrence Crawford get hit. See him get hit a lot. And hold up. I seen Terrence Crawford get dropped. So it's easy to say that a fighter get hit. Yeah, he gonna get hit. Like Punch Drunk said, this is boxing, JJ. You're gonna get hit. I get it. You don't want to get hit too many times with them shots like that. But in boxing, on this level, when you get to this level, them fighters are that good to where they're going to be able to hit you. Now, the real question is, can you be able to take them punches and come back? And Boots have showed us that, just like uh, Manny Pacquiao did, just like any other fighter, you know, who took a big punch like Terrence Crawford and any other guy. So yeah, do we need to sharpen up a little bit? Yeah, I say that. But one thing I do like, Bozy said in this corner, don't let that freaking right hand down. Keep that right. He said right or left hand. He said keep it up. So what I can say, it is getting better. I didn't see him get hit as much this fight as I usually see in the Norman. This was supposed to be a way bigger puncher, and he didn't make Boots go back. Boots was able to do everything he can in that ring. So I'm gonna say it like this: I think it's some people who be hating, but I think it's a lot of people
Oh, for sure.
who be over critical of Boots Ennis, because we could name fighters who get hit and who get hit a lot. We seen Earl get hit a lot. We seen Manny Pacquiao get hit a lot. You know, it's only certain fighters in history who we don't see get hit a lot. So
But
I think Boots have arrived.
I agree. He's arrived, and in my opinion, you don't have to be a perfect specimen of a boxer to have arrived. Every boxer gonna have some holes, but that hole is a big one. And again, Corey, it's not just that he gets hit; it's the way he gets hit. It's the neck turning shots. So the reason I am so critical and over what's the word? What word did you use?
Overcritical.
Yeah, overcritical of Boots is because I'm hearing things like Boots can beat Terrence Crawford right now. Boots is pound for pound top five. I'm hearing things like that. So when I hear things like that, I'm gonna watch with the same eyeballs that I watch Usyk and Crawford and Canelo and Bam Rodriguez. I'm gonna watch with those same eyeballs. And yeah, he's taking it, and maybe he's got a granite chin that he just can do it through his whole career. We see Canelo has a hell of a chin, a hell of a chin. Canelo also doesn't get hit with just clean shots often, and we saw Boots get hit with clean shots from a Stanionis who's not super fast. I saw him get hit with clean shots from Karen, and so I just it's just a concern. I'm not like the people you mentioned, like when Crawford got stunned from Mean Machine and shit. Those were shots that were just like in the pocket and easy to recoup.
But he got dropped though. He got
No,
dropped
for
though.
sure. No, he did. No, he did. And again, boxers are going to get dropped too. I'm
Virgil
saying
got
those
dropped twice.
shots. Yeah,
Virgil got dropped
those
twice.
shots were shots that they were almost expecting because they weren't completely shocking shots. Go back and watch Boots in this fight, bro. He got hit with big shots that if there were punchers, could be a problem. And
But
if I'm wrong,
Stanionis
I'm
was a
wrong.
puncher.
Not,
Stanionis
not,
was yes, he was a puncher, JJ. But what
not
I'm
like,
saying is
yeah.
Virgil Ortiz got knocked down twice.
But you know the
Twice.
award, and I
With the
hate saying
same
flash knockdown.
I
You
know,
know
but
that
it
was
was
a
it,
flash
it was the
knockdown.
same type of punch you said Boots got hit with. But guess
No,
what?
not close. I wish I had the replays, bro. Like,
But JJ, what I'm saying is until we see that, like, okay, he get hit. It really is boxing, JJ. Like a quarterback not gonna go all game and not get sacked. A running back not gonna get hit. A
right.
basketball player not gonna get fouled. So he's gonna get hit. But let's not just make it about him get hit. Is it a concern? Yeah, we see him take a couple of big shots, just a couple. But I see a lot of fighters take a couple of big shots and been dropped, right? But what Boots did in that ring, like what I seen, because when I seen it that night and then I rewatched it again, that's when my mind changed. I said, "Oh, this dude right here is special, right?"
He
Now I
is
say,
special.
if he could put it together and keep that same mindset and just focus on getting better, because I seen him move in and out. JJ when Stanionis thought he had him on the ropes, he was circling him. Boots came out smart, used that educated jab. You heard the commentators on there saying, "Oh, I think he fights better in the southpaw position." Well, he showed y'all he fought better in the conventional system, and he didn't have to change because of where he heard the critics say. So I give Boots A+ in that fight. A+.
I dig it. I don't want this to go away, and I want people to watch for me to say I'm hating. I think Boots has the goods for sure. I think Boots is here to stay. I just want him to be a little more defensively responsible. That's it. Just tighten up the defense. Even if you have a granite chin, I don't want you. I don't want to see you slurring when you're 45 years old. You know what I mean? So just tighten up that defense. It's the big shots. Your comparison you made to football. It would be like a quarterback not only getting sacked over and over, but getting sacked from the blind side over and over and over. The shot he don't see. And that could be problematic then. Oh, I'm just too slow and I got this defensive tackle on my face and I get sacked to the ground. It's the shots you don't see that cripple you, dog. And that's what I don't want to see from Boots. He just got to be a little tighter with that defense, bro. But other than that, I think Boots is here. But I'm going to sprinkle this little sauce on it and we'll see what happens. I think if he fights Virgil Ortiz next weekend, Virgil Ortiz wins, bro. I think Virgil wins just based on what I've seen from them the past couple fights. Including the fight that you think he lost against Chuck, but no, including that fight.
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough to call right now. I wouldn't want to see it immediately. I would want to
What's
see
next?
Boots.
That's what we still haven't talked about. What's next?
I would want to. Well, first off, I don't think Boots could beat Terrence Crawford. Let me get that out the door. But no, I don't. I don't
Facts.
think. I don't think necessarily. That should be Boots. Next fight. I think Boots should really stay at 147, right? And become supreme hero and then move up. Boots is young. He's 27 years old. I think it's a big fight with Brian Norman Jr. and another fight with Barrios where he has a route to where he could become undisputed and go to 154 after that. Because he even came in less pounds than Stanionis. That's why he was on there doing like that. Everybody be quiet. So I think the next route would be I like to see him versus a Brian Norman Jr. I think that fight, I was looking at it one way. Now when I look at it now, it's close to call. It's a close to call fight. This is a pick'ems fight now with
Agreed.
Boots Ennis and Brian Norman Jr. because see I don't know because what Boots showed out of me right is his boxing ability to move around that ring, right? But I agree with you. Boots do get hit, and Brian Norman Jr. is a ferocious, devastating, bulldozing puncher who's going to come at you all night, right? So
He also gets hit quite a lot.
yeah, so this fight is it's close to call, JJ. I
That's
don't
it.
know. First, I was favoring Norman Jr. because of the way I had seen Boots. But now after this performance, it's too close to call now. I don't know. It's the
Yep.
pick 'em.
It's a pick'em fight because most people I think are going to go with Boots, but I'm with you, dog. I'm sorry to the audience who expect to see us arguing all the time, but no, I agree. As of late, I've been thinking Brian Norman edges him out, and I've been waiting for that fight to get signed because I've been waiting to put a bet on it because I know Brian Norman's gonna be a big underdog, um, based on Boots' last few performance. But I know you said you liked how he was moving, but I saw how precise he was with his shots, his precision, coupled with the speed. Not crazy about timing just yet, but precision and speed mixed with his power is scary. Now you put Brian Norman, who comes forward, who is going to connect at some point. If Boots continues to fight as irresponsibly as he's fighting, Brian Norman has the ability to sleep his ass with one shot. Brian Norman's not Stanionis, but Brian Norman takes a lot of shots. And you look at Boots' precision, I think that fight has the potential to be a fight of the year right there, bro.
And Norman been dropped before too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing right there. And who gonna be the bigger fighter coming in, JJ?
Boots are going to be significantly bigger, but Brian Norman got a good reach for his height. So you rather have that, and like you, I don't want to put all the attention on Norman. That's the fight I want next. Like that's the one I wanted. But even if he goes down to Mario Barrios' route, I think just based on what we've seen, but Barrios, where he's been, where he's, kind of his fights he's been through, his last fight that he struggled with here on the Tyson undercard. I think that's a much better odds for Boots to unify and win and set himself up for undisputed. I think he's taking a big risk fighting Norman first. I want to see the Norman fight first, but what are your thoughts about Barrio?
Yeah, no, I don't want to see that. I want to see him and Norman Jr.
Me too.
I'm a hold Boots accountable, right? I don't want to hear no, oh, you didn't take the fight the first time when we offered you the fight. You was talking about, well, Boots, let's talk about you and how you didn't take the Terrence Crawford fight when it was offered to you on BLK Prime. So do you want to go around, you want to go down that route on how y'all both done turned down fights before, or do you want to change the landscape of boxing and make this happen so you can show who you is, or Brian Norman can show who he is, and we can see who is going to be the creme de la creme of this division. So I don't want to hear that from Boots' team or nobody else talking about, oh, he should have took the fight the first time. Well, Boots should have took the Terrence Crawford fight, the fight that was offered to him. He ducked it and said no because he had to do this. Then a couple of months later, he leaves PBC. Come on, now. So I don't want to hear none of that.
I dig it. Before we roll or change topic, but I'm gonna say this. I want to see Boots fight Virgil Ortiz so bad. I think that fight there might be the most competitive fight that is possible to make in the entire sport right now, not just at 154, 147. But if I'm Boots and I'm thinking about money, and if I can make the weight comfortably, bro, look at the names, dog. Okay, you have the unification fights with Barrios and Norman available, but Ryan Garcia is a name. Devin Haney's a name. Teofimo Lopez is a name. Think about the money he can make. He'll be the heavy favorite on all of those fights. If I'm Boots Ennis, I would say, hey, Virgil, we have a date with Destiny one day. I can still make 147 easy, and there's a whole lot of low-hanging fruit that has a lot of money in it, and I think that's the route I'm going if I'm Boots Ennis. Go and do undisputed or unification. I want to see him with fight Norman, but man, look at the road after that, dog, and how good would that resume look, dude?
And another thing, JJ, I'm with that 100% because Boots Ennis, man, it's like Virgil. You got to get a belt first, bro, before we even think about this new unified champion Ring Magazine lineal coming up to fight you. It don't make no sense for Boots Ennis as a lineal 2-division champion to come up and fight him. Now, I think Terrence Crawford needs to be stripped of his belt. Terrence Crawford needs to be stripped of his belt, and Virgil Ortiz needs to be fighting for that belt in his next fight because there's no way Terrence Crawford should be able to hold on to that WBO belt, go up here and fight Canelo. Virgil Ortiz needs to be fighting in the championship fight, his next fight. Virgil Ortiz graduated to me completely when he beat what's his name, the one who Terrence Crawford struggled against? Madrimov. When he beat Madrimov, that was the graduation fight right there, especially if we're doing a standard to see him fight Terrence Crawford, then to see how much better Virgil Ortiz look against him. I know styles make fights, but also when you great, you great, and you're gonna be able to do that. So I think Virgil Ortiz needs to be fighting for a championship belt his next fight, and I'm not too interested in Virgil versus Boots. I'm interested in Virgil versus Xander Zayas or Sebastian Fundora. That's what I'm excited. I'm ready to see the Mexican Americans go at it with each other. I think Xander Zayas, he's from Puerto Rico, ain't he?
Yeah, You got it. No, you're right, brother. Hey, listen, the takeaway here should be that regardless of which direction Boots goes, regardless of which direction Virgil goes, there's still so many good fights left to be made between all the names we mentioned in the last 10, 15 minutes. However that looks, we win. We win as an audience. And the fans who watch where they put all of their eggs in one basket, stop it. You're robbing yourself from great, great, great boxing. Because at any given day, any one of these fighters can win. And there's so many fights to be made that rematches might not happen. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. If Brian Norman Jr. beats Boots, man, how badass would that be? If Boots beats Brian Norman, like, however, let's just enjoy it because there's so much good boxing to be made. And the last thing we need is to hear all these excuses and why they won and we need a rematch and blah, blah, blah. Just enjoy it. So that's my takeaway from our last 15, 20 minutes, Corey.
Me too. Last time.
We're gonna talk. We were gonna talk about Usyk and Daniel Dubois, who have a rematch very close to happening, but Aegis, Usyk's manager came out and said the fight isn't happened yet. Nothing's official. Media's just taking shit and running with it. So we don't need to get too much into it because it's not official. Management has said it's not happening. But if it does, are you excited for Parker, or do you think Usyk should be? I mean, not Parker. Do you think? Are you excited for Dubois? Are you happy with that fight, or do you think Usyk should be fighting Parker after Parker's recent crazy ass run?
No, Dubois needs to go at Usyk because he was robbed in that last fight.
There you go.
That was a clear knockdown. And the refs completely dropped the ball again. But we don't want to talk about that. How that referee looked the other way when there was a clear body shot and they robbed Dubois of his moment. See, that's the type of thing that could break a fighter, right? But give Daniel Dubois all the credit in the world because he didn't let that break him. He learned from that, and now he is the reigning and defending and the most scariest heavyweight on this planet for Usyk to go in. Or you think his manager coming out saying, no, 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 my friend, don't let the media run with this. I don't think we want to see that young fella anymore because my fighter and Alexander Usyk is still feeling that body punch. So I think if the money right, it'll happen, right? But um, damn right, this is the fight that's supposed to happen. He owed Daniel Dubois this. It's questions about his victory. I don't care what nobody say. It's questions about that bullshit ass victory. How the referee, like Steve Willis, who be looking over here and over there, and the ref in that fight looked the other way. JJ, that's it. That's the fight next. Parker, you can wait. You can wait. It's about it's bigger. This will be undisputed, right, Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's bigger than Parker.
Yeah, 100%. And that gives Parker an opportunity because he's in line next. So I'll say this. I agree with you 100%. Now, I won't say that was a clear knockdown, but what I do say is that if you take all of the refs in professional boxing to ref that fight, you'll have 50% say that was a knockdown, and you'll have the other 50% said it wasn't. It was that close for me. The way they called it, Daniel Dubois was literally centimeters away from being world champ. So I agree with you. Has Parker proven that he deserves that opportunity? Absolutely. But that opportunity is still going to be there for you, big guy. Look, Daniel Dubois arguably should have been champ a long ass time ago. He should have shocked the world a long ass time ago. Let's give Dubois that opportunity. He's earned it. He's bounced back when a lot of people thought he was going to quit on the whole sport after that. He came back with some impressive wins. Him knockout of the year with Anthony Joshua? No, he was a runner-up or something.
Yeah.
But still, I think Dubois deserves it. It's still not official. I hope it happens. If it happens, I'm probably picking Usyk, but Daniel Dubois has proved me wrong a million times. So
I got Dubois.
You got Dubois with that one?
I got Dubois. I can't wait till we do our show next week or whenever we do it again. If we do it this week or we decide to do it next Tuesday, we could break down the winner. I mean, the winner or loser is gonna be on this card because I got some predictions for you, and I think 2 out of 3 of these fighters on this card, with Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, and Teofimo
Oh, yeah.
Lopez. I think 2 out of 3 of them gonna lose in that fight. But that's the episode coming next Tuesday. That's a little teaser for him.
Ooh, look at
So we got to
you,
get into
baiting
that.
them, baiting them. All right, bro. Well, hey, good times. Good to be back. We'll do it again. And hey, to the folks watching, we appreciate y'all. Please like and please subscribe if you haven't. If you're watching IOTBA's channel, please flip over onto the Spit Bucket channel and subscribe, and vice versa. If you're watching on TSB's page, please switch over to IOTBA's page, give it a follow, and we really appreciate you guys. But that's episode 89. We'll see y'all very soon for episode 90.
This is JJ Solomon.
This Ray Bradshaw, Mr. RTBA, Mr. Dubois can't touch me on my worst day. And this is the Spit Bucket Podcast.